Council members are present with the exception of Mayor Corsi.
And Mayor Corsi will be joining us shortly. He is doing something for Rebuild, and he'll be with us as soon as he can. Let's go ahead and start with our city attorney, as I'm letting her climb into the chair. Report on closed session items.
Yes, the council met in closed session and discussed items 2.1 and 2.2 and gave direction to staff. Item 2.3 was taken off the agenda, and on item 2.4, the council conducted the evaluation of the city attorney.
Great, thank you so much. We have one proclamation today for Women's Equality Day. Councilmember Combs, I'll let you take this one.
Thank you very much. And I think that here for us is Janice Blaylock, representative for the Commission on the Status of Women. Welcome, thank you. Whereas Women's Equality Day was established in 1971 through a joint resolution of Congress with the date of August 26 being chosen in commemoration of the passage of the 19th Amendment and in celebration and recognition of the history of the United States suffrage movement that began at Seneca Falls, New York in 1848. And whereas Women's Equality Day is an opportunity to recognize and honor efforts of the women and men who fought for equal rights for women and bring attention to the reality that despite decades of progress, women have not achieved true equality beyond the voting booth. And whereas women face an array of gender-related disparities in many areas, including but not limited to employment earnings, economic security, personal safety, and health care, and whereas these disparities play a major role in the lack of women in positions of corporate leadership or elected office, and whereas in recognition of the efforts to achieve equal rights under the law for women and the critical position of women in American society, women and girls have rallied to demand equal rights and equal respect. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Chris Corsi, Mayor of the City of Santa Rosa, on behalf of the entire City Council, does hereby proclaim August 26, 2018 as Women's Equality Day.
Thank you so much. Can I move this here? Nope, it won't reach. Thank you so much for that. Can you hear me okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Just a little history. At the behest of Representative Bella Abzug in 1971 and passed in 1973, the U.S. Congress designated August 26th as Women's Equality Day. The date was selected to commemorate the 1920 certification of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, granting women the right to vote. This was the culmination of a massive, peaceful civil rights movement by women that had its formal beginnings in 1848 at the world's first women's rights convention, Seneca Falls, New York. What would follow was a 72-year-long political movement carried out by tens of thousands of women and men working to form a more perfect union. Yet the significance of the women's suffrage campaign and its enormous political and social impact have been largely ignored in the telling of American history. It is a story that needs to be told. It's the story of women creating one of the most innovative and successful nonviolent civil rights efforts the world has ever seen. And I think we saw that about a year and a half ago as well. It is all the more remarkable when one considers the barriers suffragists had to overcome. With little financial, legal, or political power of their own, and facing a well-financed and entrenched opposition, women fought state by state for the rights of citizens. To win the right to vote, women circulated countless petitions, gave speeches, published newspapers, and traveled the country to win support. They were frequently ridiculed, harassed, and sometimes attacked by mobs and police. Some were thrown in jail and treated brutally when they protested. Nevertheless, they persisted. Finally, on August 26, 1920, 72 years after the beginning of this protest, their goal was achieved with the ratification of the 19th Amendment. women had won the right to vote and hold public office. Women's Equality Day gives us an opportunity to reflect on the many benefits of true equality and the role of women in our public life. When women in public service and government have long served us as a nation by working to clear barriers, enforce laws, implement new ideas, and change people's attitudes. So the observance of Women's Equality Day not only commemorates the passage of the 19th Amendment, but also calls attention to women's continued efforts towards full equality. So I thank you very much for this today.
Thank you so much. We'll go on to, Madam City Manager, we'll go on to Fire Recovery and Rebuild update.
Thank you, Mayor Rogers. We have two updates for you today, starting with David Guin, our Assistant City Manager and Planning Director, and then Ben Horenstein, our Water Director.
Thank you. Good evening. The first update I wanted to give is on PG&E on the rebuild side. They are reducing their crews down in the coffee park right now. They were up to 12 crews at one point. They're reducing down to 5, and we've been told that they'd be down to 2 crews out there by the first week of September. This is also, I think the reduction in crews shows that they are making progress. The joint trench in Coffee Park should be completed by the end of August is what their goal is. And it also reduces the amount of traffic out there during the construction project, which is fairly active at this point if you've been out there. They also are working on decommissioning the operations yard that they've set up over at the intersection of Coffee and Dennis, and they're hoping to have that cleared up by September 14th. So that'll be a big movement as we see them shift. They are working in Hidden Valley at this point, working their way up through Fountain Grove, and they're working with the water department to phase, letting the water department get through there, the Fur Ridge before they get in there. And then at the end, we'll be coordinating with CIP, the water department, PG&E, and others to make sure how we pave the roads back is done in a coordinated manner. And then on the rebuild side, we did have a big push this weekend. I think many of you probably saw the article yesterday. The Press Democrat wrote about our consultant, who has been a great partner of ours, has heard our call for adding more resources to try to deal with the turnaround times. They've added resources. They brought up people from all over California, Southern California, Santa Ana, Thousand Oaks, from Sacramento. We had people working here all weekend to get through a whole bunch of close to 100 plans, and they were fairly successful moving those through. Can't thank them enough. It was a warm weekend, and the community came out and actually brought food to help feed them, which was really nice. So it was a great outpouring of support for them. We're going to continue to keep adding resources and try to keep up with the demand. We broke our 1,000 permits, rebuild permits this week, so we're at 1,014 homes that are in the rebuild process at this point. Of that, 501 are in construction as of today, so quite a bit of activity going on out there. And one of the other things that I mentioned before was the fact that we do have a website that we're launching, and that we're going to soft launch that tomorrow, which is people to be able to look up their address and see where their permit is in the process. And next week we'll do the full campaign in terms of getting information out through social media and information on how to use that with a little video that we've produced, so people can see how they can track their permits. And finally, a question about ADUs has come up as well. We've seen an increase in ADUs in the rebuild, but also citywide based on the ADU ordinance that the City Council put in place. Overall, we've seen 70 ADUs this year, which is fairly dramatic compared to the 5 to 10 we typically see a year. And of that, 24 of those are in the rebuild area. So as rebuilds are happening, people are looking at their lots, looking at adding second units on garages and other areas of their property, which is exactly what I think we'd hope to see. And so we're encouraging more of that to happen. So That's all I have, and unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Director. Questions? Okay.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor Rogers, council members, Ben Hornstein, Water Director with the city. A brief update on some work going on as it relates to water post-fire. City and staff continue to work to fully resolve the water contamination issue that we've been dealing with for some time. The data continues to be very positive, favorable as we're progressing. As we have talked about previously, the highest concentrations we had found in our investigation were the water service lines, the lines going from the main to meters. We initiated a project to replace all of those lines in the Fountain Grove area that we've been dealing with this contamination, and that work is complete along with some blow-offs. And we continued to flush the system and do extensive monitoring. A lot of the monitoring is from the hydrants that are good indications generally of the water quality. We have found some residual levels on 3 courts. The levels are well below the regulatory threshold, but pretty much everything else is now coming back non-detects, and the data indicates that there's an opportunity for targeted replacement of mains on those 3 courts to deal with that and just resolve this issue, even though the levels don't present a public health concern. The BPU awarded a change order to the contractor that was out there replacing the service lines to take care of these mains, and that work is now underway, and we expect that that will really complete this. And in light of that, we've been working with state and federal regulators about a plan to lift the advisory, and we're moving forward developing that plan with the expectation in the coming months we'll lift the advisory and be done with this effort. We do have a special council session planned for September 7th, and we're bringing 2 items. One will be some details with the data and graphs on the water quality issue, where we are, and the steps we're taking to lift the advisory. The second item will be a study session on the review that we had from our consultant that we brought in doing this objective analysis on the operation of the water system and associated pressure issues during the fire and lessons learned going forward and next steps. And we'll be bringing both items on the 7th to the council at this special meeting. We also have scheduled a community meeting on the water quality issue September 19th at 6 p.m. and we'll be announcing that fully in our newsletter for the public to hear the plans for lifting the advisory, the associated review of all the data to ensure that folks fully understand and are informed of the work we did and how the data and the results are now indicating. So with that, that's all I have unless there's questions.
Thank you so much. Council? Great, thank you so much. Moving on to City Manager and City Attorney reports.
Thank you, Mayor Rogers. I do have one item, community engagement. On September 5th, the Office of Community Engagement's Violent Prevention Partnership is offering a seminar called Tipping the Scale, Building Authentic Relationships for Resilient Communities. This seminar opens the partnership's first annual Gang Prevention Awareness Month, which previously had been a Gang Awareness Prevention Week. This will be presented by the Center for Adolescent Studies Executive Director, Sam Himmelstein, for a 3-hour event that starts at 8 a.m. and is intended for direct service providers. The focus will be developing, building, and maintaining authentic relationships with high-risk youth that have experienced trauma, and will incorporate mindfulness strategies in a format that youth can relate to and adopt to gain insight and transform negative behaviors. That's the only announcement I have.
And I have nothing to report this afternoon.
Great, thank you, both of you. Council, are there any statements of abstentions? No? Then we will go on to mayor's and council members' reports. Councilmember Combs.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to note there was an excellent article in the Press Democrat by Kevin Fixler on the problems of voucher users in our county. I think it's really a shame that we continue to allow discrimination based solely on the use of a voucher for housing, especially for our veterans who are using BASH vouchers or BASH vouchers. We funded a non-discrimination ordinance conversation during the budget process. I have met with our city attorney and a legal aid attorney to discuss and provide ordinances from several cities, including Santa Monica, that have held up in court. So we have some model language that's been tested. I am seeking a second to place this on the agenda soon, hopefully before we have to grapple with the loss of the price gouging ordinance.
So I'm happy to second that, and here's why. I spent all day Monday out walking around Apollo and Challenger Way and taking down data of everybody who exists there. And two interesting things struck me is one, over half of the people there are somebody who was either displaced directly by the fire or was a renter during the fire and a landlord moved back into their secondary home. The other one was that I would say about 5 people there. One was a woman with an 11-year-old daughter in the car that has a Section 8 voucher and is about 4 months away from losing it. And there's a handful of these folks that exists out there. So I think we would be wise to look into what solutions exist out there for people with these vouchers who are kind of just getting circulated through that system.
Great, that has a motion and a second. We'll bring that back at a future council meeting.
Thank you. I also understand, and this is a question possibly for the city attorney, it's come to my attention that there is a group that's been working to fund registration, insurance, small repairs if necessary, some combination of that for the unregistered vehicles at Corporate Parkway. And I'm wondering how we as a city staff, or if you need council direction, to essentially honor that they're working to fix signs that they have posted on their vehicles so that they aren't summarily towed while we're trying to solve a problem. Towing them someplace often costs a great deal to get them out of where they've been impounded, and I'm just wondering if we can give them a week or 2 weeks, and how do we have that conversation, or if staff is talking about that already, do we know what the status of that is? I don't see you jumping up fast.
Right. Well, I'm happy to give at least a brief response. We have discussed that issue. There is not a clear conclusion. As you know, we do have a policy group that meets every Monday afternoon, and then an operational team that meets every Thursday. Okay. So we are aware of those efforts, and we're aware of the issue.
I really appreciate that no one wants folks in unsanitary conditions parking around our city streets. If there's any way, though, that we can effectively assist them in getting their vehicles to a point where they can move them to another location without towing, I'd appreciate it if we'd try that. Thank you. And thank you.
Councilmember Oliveros.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I want to extend great appreciation to Stephanie. Stephanie's leaving us, and I have known Stephanie for many, many, many years. I know probably about as long as Tom here in the city. I know we have a motto out there with our tagline with Visit Santa Rosa, out there in the middle of everything, I think is what it is. Well, Stephanie's been in there in the middle of everything for many, many years, with both the city manager's office and the city clerk's office. and I have really valued her work over the many years. I know she's worked with us directly with campaign issues, but just day-to-day operations of the city. But I am very excited for her new chapter in her life, going on to be the city clerk for the city of Healdsburg. And I want to congratulate you on a job well done. And I know that you will do well with that. And anytime you want to invite me up there to lunch, I'd be happy to come and join you. So thank you for all the work that you've done for the city, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sawyer.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, I'll second that. Stephanie, I don't know City Hall without you here. And I appreciate your professionalism and your responsiveness and your sense of humor. And Santa Rosa's loss is Healdsburg's gain. And I love the fact that you're going to assume the position of clerk of Healdsburg. It's a great city, and all the best in your future excitement, this journey that you're on. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your incredible work.
Well, thank you. I just want to say that it's been my pleasure and honor to serve you as a council and past councils that I've worked with over the last 25 years of my tenure in Santa Rosa. It's been a growing experience and a fun experience, and I know I will miss all of you very, very much. But you're all invited to come and take me to lunch.
Thanks, Steph. I'll go. Should I continue with my audio?
Continue.
Okay. So I wanted to speak to the sesquicentennial that's coming up, showing here on this large banner on our left. Give you a little update into what's going on. I'll give you a smaller than a thumbnail sketch because there's not a lot of time, but the celebration is on the 8th, as it indicates on the banner, from 3 until 8, September 8th, 3 to 8 p.m. And there will be so far, a vintage car show, local entertainment, fashion show through the ages, lots of activities for children, a documentary film, historical displays, food vendors, food trucks, and at 6 p.m. there will be we're going to try to keep it short and sweet, but Congressman Thompson will be speaking, and and our mayor and some other dignitaries, and there will be a ceremonial sinking of this next time capsule that will be opened in 50 years, along with the other time capsule that will be opened in 50 years. So that is a 100-year time capsule that was sunk in 1968. So that'll be interesting in 50 years. I regret that I'll be busy that day and won't be able to attend. But my heart will be there. And there will be a birthday cake, and at 8 p.m. we'll be showing Shadow of a Doubt, the film there in the center of town. We've amazing support from the local businesses. It's really been heartening to see the response for our sponsors and also members of the public. So I just wanted to give you that brief update. I do want to thank just the volunteers in there's been a large community group, and which Councilmember Schwedhelm and Mayor Corsi was a part of that as well. And there had two groups, the larger group, the community group, and then the smaller group consisting of some Stacy Pastis and Karen Weeks and Pat Fruitt and Carolina, all working very, very hard. It's this core group and a couple of also employees of the chamber working. Some of us have been there for 3 years working on this project, and it's really been a labor of love, and it's less than 3 weeks away, and it's going to be a great celebration. It's a unique one-time celebration of 150 years. So come on down to Santa Rosa downtown on the 8th of September and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mr. Schwedhelm.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Again, Stephanie has been awesome, and the longest face in the house is the young lady sitting next to you, Daisies. I know you guys have been a great team, but I know you're not going to be too far away, and yes, we will come up to Healdsburg and surprise you and fill out our cards. Just one thing I wanted to add. Yesterday, we had our Rebuilding Our Community, Rock-Sonoma County's resource open house. For those of you that aren't familiar with Rock-Sonoma County, we are helping long-term recovery efforts, those that fire survivors. So Mr. Tibbetts, I'd encourage you, anyone that you've talked to that's been directly impacted by a fire, please refer them to Rock-Sonoma County, because we have disaster case managers there to help. And the resource centers at 141 Stony Circle, Suite 204. And if you weren't able to attend last night's open house, there's going to be another one on Friday, September 14th from 11 to 1. Again, it's the Rock Resource Center, and you can get more information at the website rocksonomacounty.org. Thanks, and that's ROC.
And Councilmember Tibbetts.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Really quickly, I was having a conversation the other day with President Herman G. Hernandez of the Sonoma County Office of Education, who was telling me a little bit about a conversation they're having over there with Superintendent Dr. Steve Harrington, specifically around the city's cannabis ordinance. And I know that we've have gone through that ordinance almost to the point of exhaustion, but one thing that I think merits some research, and I'm hoping the cannabis subcommittee will take this on, is looking into our current, I think it's 600-foot setback, and how that could impact the school's ability to tie in with federal funding. They have some concerns about that. I'd encourage us to maybe reach out to them and maybe refer it to the cannabis subcommittee if necessary, but I definitely wanted to bring it to this body's attention.
Is there any objection to assigning that to the subcommittee? All right. Is that it, council member? All right. Two quick things. We had our long-term financial policy and audit committee late last week, welcoming our new CFO, Mr. McBride, to come in and talk through with Councilmember Sawyer, Mayor Coursey, and myself where we're at with our pension obligations and what we should expect over the next couple of years. As you can expect, it was a very lively and sobering and depressing conversation. We'll be bringing some of that information back to the council as we do our mid-year adjustments. We also had the mayors and council members legislative task force meeting on Friday, talking through the end of session as we are in the last 2 weeks up in Sacramento. And conceivably, or in practice, it's actually about 1 week remaining for all bills to get into their final form to be able to be passed. So we have a lot that we are tracking. Most importantly so far has been the conference committee around what was originally liability issues with the wildfire. That has, the inverse condemnation conversation has been taken off the table. So thank you to Senator Dodd and Assemblymember Wood, who serve on that committee, and were able to remove that conversation topic. And it has been replaced by a broader topic of fire recovery and fire resiliency. Just today, the League of Cities, the California State Association of Counties, and RCRC, the Rural Counties Regional Caucus, if I got that right, sent a joint letter thanking the committee not just for removing inverse condemnation as a possible amendment, but also advocating that they strengthen fire protection and forest management, increase ratepayer protections, do fair cost recovery process, and then the final piece is the fair balanced debt management process regarding PG&E and the liability around the fires. This has been a conversation topic around a bill called AB 33, which would allow PG&E to securitize any settlement that they have in terms of liability. There was an initial kerfuffle because it didn't have any distinguishment between when there was negligence and when there was just your typical inverse condemnation issues. I believe that CSAC and the league in particular are going to be pushing for a distinction between those two circumstances. Seeing as how we are at the very end of session and going through our process to actually agendize and have a discussion about this issue would take 3 weeks, and by that point it's too late. What I'm asking is that the council just authorize the mayor to be able to take a position based on Santa Rosa, based on how things would have impact Santa Rosa as they play out over the next couple of days, really. Is that appropriate?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. I'm not seeing any objection from the council And so Mayor Corsi will, I know, be engaged on this issue, but as we move forward, that'll give him the ability to weigh in Santa Rosa's benefit. The last bill that I wanted to flag for the group is SB 212 by Senator Jackson. It is relatively new, but it dovetails with an issue that we've discussed here at the council level. It would create a statewide take-back system for sharps and pharmaceutical waste. The league has moved into a support if amended position with some technical aspects about how many collection sites there need to be in areas. Us being a little bit more forward-looking in Northern California, this bill would actually reduce how many sites we had for take-back potentially, so just making sure that they clear that up, but wanted to make sure that the council was aware that that bill has new legs and is moving as well. We'll move on to approval of minutes. The May 22nd minutes, were there any changes from the council? Seeing none, we will call those adopted and move on to consent.
Thank you. Consent item 12.1, motion, approve balance from community promotion funds to Santa Rosa Sesquicentennial. Item 12.2, resolution, Transportation Development Act, Article 4, and State Transit Assistance Claim Submittal. Item 12.3, resolution authorizing project list for the fiscal year 18-19 State of Good Repair funding in the amount of $28,791.
Councilor, are there any questions on consent? Are there any cards? Nope. All right, Councilmember Sawyer.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll move consent items 12.1 through 12.3 and wait for the reading.
Second.
Your votes. That will pass with 6 ayes, with Mayor Corsi absent. We're not quite to 5 o'clock yet, so we'll go on to item 14.1.
Item 14.1, a report, council direction to voting delegate for League of California Cities 2018 annual conference regarding council position on the resolutions coming before the League General Assembly. And presenting today is Nicole Trupiano, who's our city manager fellow.
Hello and good evening. Thank you for having me. So just a little bit of background. We have one delegate going to vote for the General Assembly, which will be held in Long Beach on September 12th through 14th, 2018, for the League of California Cities. And the first proposed resolution is a resolution of the League of California Cities calling upon the League to respond to the increasing vulnerabilities to local municipal authority, control, and revenue options, and to explore the preparation of a ballot measure and/or constitutional amendment that would further strengthen local democracy and authority. This proposal comes in the wake of the 2017-18 legislative cycle, where the legislature introduced bills such as SB 649, which sought to limit local control for placement of telecom services, AB 252, which would have prohibited any tax on the sale or use of video streaming services, and SB 827, which would have overridden local control on a specific housing development. Had any of these measures been signed into law, they would have impinged on the ability of local government to be responsive to the needs of their constituents. There would be no projected fiscal impact for the city, for the League to assess and explore the preparation of a ballot measure that would further protect local authority. And the second resolution is a resolution of the League of California Cities declaring its commitment to support the repeal of preemption in California Food and Agriculture Code 11501.1 that prevents local governments from regulating pesticides. Since the use of pesticides is broadly regulated by state law, it leaves cities unable to adequately address local concerns. So it is recommended that the council take a position on support of each of these resolutions to further strengthen local control. Any questions?
Great. Councilor, are there any questions on either resolution? Do we have any cards on this? Mr. DeWitt? Should we see him walk out? All right, let's go ahead and put a motion on the table. Councilmember Oliveros.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will make a motion that the council take a position of support on both of these resolutions.
Second.
Is there any discussion, council? Well, I will say really fast on the first resolution, I'm a little bit concerned just because it's, anytime we start talking about ballot measures, I kind of want to see it in writing before we even start to take a position. I know that particularly when we talk about housing policy, it gets a little bit tricky when the state starts exerting their influence, but I think we all also recognize that some cities are doing a better job than others of developing housing, and yet it still impacts all of us. And so I'll support this today for us to take this position, but I definitely will be looking very closely at what kind of a ballot measure the league comes up with for next year, because quite frankly, I can't see too many ways that you would write a statewide ballot measure that doesn't cripple Sacramento's ability to take care of broader issues. So I'll be looking very closely on that.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and I believe there will be an opportunity for more clarification on this at the conference itself as well.
Yeah, I think the conference it'll move forward. I'm more concerned with what the league proposes come after, once they start to actually draft policies and regulations.
Understood.
Do we already know who the voting delegates are? That was previously determined. Okay, just making sure we're...
Mayor Corsi, and I believe I'm the backup.
I thought so. So you'll be there to speak up?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, your votes, council. That passes with 6 ayes with Mayor Corsi absent.
Okay, thank you.
All right, item 14.2.
Item 14.2, it's report request for summary vacation of 8,941 square feet of public right-of-way, a portion of the Kiwanis Terrace right-of-way, formerly Kiwanis Springs Road, for the Kiwanis Springs Apartment Homes project located directly south of APN 044-370-002, file number VAC 18-001, and presenting is Gary Broad, our planning consultant.
Thank you. The application before the council tonight is the Kiwanis Terrace right-of-way summary vacation. And the applicant, Kiwanis Springs by Vintage LP, the owner of the land surrounding the subject property and the Kiwanis Terrace right-of-way, requests council approval of a summary vacation of the 8,941 square foot public right-of-way. The use of this public right-of-way was terminated in 2005 with the roadway realignment associated with the construction of the Oaks at Kiwanis Springs condominium subdivision improvement. And the vacation of this area will allow the use of this area as landscaping, hardscape, garden and dog park for the approved Kiwanis Springs Apartment Homes project, which received design review approval earlier in 2018 and is a 120-unit apartment project that includes 6 very low and 12 low-income units. Here's the location of the Kiwanis Springs Homes apartments and also of the requested vacation. It's located between Kiwanis Springs and Franz Kafka Road, and on the map it's just south, just below the green area in the north corner of the site, which is the proposed or the approved dog park. This is a more detailed map in which you can see that with the approval of the subdivision in 2005, the roadway was realigned so that Kiwanis Springs and Franz Kafka Ave went around the property, and the use of Kiwanis Terrace was abandoned at that point in time. This is the proposed map for the vacation, and again, you can see the location of the area requested for vacation to the south and to the west of the 2 used roadways, Kiwanis Springs and Franz Kafka Avenue. This is just put up so you can have a sense for the 120 unit approved project. You can see that the dog park is still in the north part, and just south of that is the area proposed for vacation, and it's just north of the building and runs across to the south of the dog park and through landscape area and through proposed parking. Another map of the right-of-way vacation. Looking at the necessary analysis, the project is consistent with the requirements of the California Streets and Highway Code section 8331. This right-of-way has been impassable for more than 5 consecutive years. There was no public money expended for maintenance of this right-of-way for more than 5 consecutive years, and the right-of-way area has no future role in the general plan or the capital improvement program. The project is categorically exempt from CEQA pursuant to section 15305, which is minor alterations in land use limitations. We have not had any public input related to this project. Staff recommends that the council by resolution approve a summary vacation of the 8,941 square foot Kiwanis Terrace public right-of-way. The council did receive a copy of an appraisal that was prepared for this vacation, and the project's been reviewed by the city right-of-way agent, Jill Scott, who is also present today if council members have any questions for Jill. The appraisal concludes that as part of this vacation, the applicant should make a payment to the city of the value of the vacated right-of-way of $25,000. Engineering has required that the applicant provide an easement in favor of the SCWA for the aqueduct, which is located within the area to be vacated, and also engineering's recommended that the applicant be required to reserve a PUE, public utility easement over the entire area to be vacated. And I'd be happy to answer any questions from council members.
Great. Councilmember Combs.
Thank you for bringing this to us. I have a couple of questions. I'm not sure what page I'm on. 6, I think, is the slide. Has the Design Review Board reviewed any of this yet? Is this the first step? Is this a concept? What stage are we in the process? I'm not seeing things that I would have expected to see, like street trees along the sidewalks, things that are typically in our guidelines, and I'm just wondering.
So the project did go through the design review committee in early 2018, and they approved the project. So yes, they have reviewed the project.
Even without the usual street trees in the guidelines. That's really interesting. Okay. I noticed.
I'm sorry, there was an attachment 9 to the staff report, which is the resolution from the design review committee approving the project.
Okay, does it have any conditions?
It has a number of conditions. I was not the project.
I apologize that I did not read the attachment.
It has 8 pages. The resolution's 8 pages in length.
Okay. I just was interested because we worked hard when I was on design review for street trees, and I'm aware that a previous mayor also did, so.
And Councilmember Combs, if I can just chime in, the exhibits that are in this Patrick Street Planning and Economic Development Department.
Yes.
The items that are in the exhibits that are in this package are strictly regarding the right of way. So the package that went before the Design Review Board would have also included a landscape plan, which would have indicated where any trees are. So they may not be in these exhibits, but they would have been in the package that went before the DRB.
I guess one of the things I'm just double checking is whether or not this was one that was done by zoning administrator or done in the Design Review Board.
It was the full Design Review Board, and they would have had to approve the landscaping that was proposed with it.
Okay, and I noticed that it has 15% affordability, and I'm wondering, I appreciate seeing that there's some low and very low units. That's very much appreciated, and I hope you will express to the developer that that's appreciated. That makes a difference to me when I'm looking at vacation of right-of-way. When will we be having the discussion about what are the appropriate percentages of affordability based on our on a council conversation? Because the 15 number sort of appeared and we haven't had a re-conversation. Do we know when we're going to revisit that? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Jessica Jones, Supervising Planner. Yes, we are currently working on an update to our inclusionary housing ordinance. Sorry, just walking down the stairs. It is a project that is underway right now. We don't have a specific date on when we will be bringing that to the council, but we hope to be bringing it to you before the end of the year. And, excuse me, end of the year.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And again, want to say that I really appreciate seeing the very low end with the affordability. Thanks.
Any other questions? Ms. Gomez, no cards on this? All right, we're flying. Councilmember Sweathelm.
Yes, I'll move a resolution of the Council of the City of Santa Rosa for summary vacation of 8,941 square feet of public right-of-way, a portion of the Kiwanis Terrace right-of-way, formerly Kiwanis Springs Road, for the Kiwanis Springs Apartment Homes Project located directly south of APN 044-370-002, file number VAC 18-001, and waive further reading of the text.
Second.
That passes with 6 ayes. Item 14.3.
14.3, report, contract extension, 10th Amendment to F000799 Golden Gate Landscape Management Systems, Inc., Santa Rosa, California, presenting Kalua Barnes, Acting Recreation and Parks Director, and Chuck McBride, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. My name is Kalua Barnes, Interim Director for the Department of Recreation and Parks, and sharing this presentation is Chuck McBride, Chief Financial Officer, and we've both got staff. The Deputy Director for Recreation and Parks is here, as well as Brandon Trammell from the Purchasing Officer. Before you tonight is actually the contract extension. It's the 10th Amendment for the Golden Gate Landscape Systems. And the background on this is that on August the 5th, 2014, the council approved the original contract for a 3-year extension. I'm sorry, 2014, you approved a 3-year extension for this contract for landscape services. And the current extension provides for the continued maintenance of the landscapes properties throughout the city without the use of glyphosate. That's a very difficult word to pronounce, in this additional year. So going forward for the additional year, we're expecting to have them continue the services at the same cost without the use of glyphosate. And during this period of time, and Trammell with purchasing, we'll talk more about it, but we will be focusing on the new contract during that time. The current contract provides essentially 3 areas of service. It's mowing, facility maintenance, and weed spraying. And the contractor has in the past and will continue to abide by the city's stormwater permit, Healthy Schools Act, and state regulations with regard to use of pesticides historically and none-use going forward. We also utilize an integrated pest management system. And as I've already stated, the contractor will use only organic materials approved by the OMRI for this additional extended year. And just as a background, even under the current contract, before we make this extension, the weed controller or spraying isn't used on playgrounds, it's not used in dog parks, it's not used in community gardens, picnic areas, creeks, or near daycare facilities when people are present or before and after rain. And that process will continue in addition to the overlay of abandoning the use of glyphosate. The weed control is used only in pavement cracks, tree rings, ball field warning tracks, bollards, and at the base of signs. And all of that use is regulated by the state and requires a permit to be utilized. And the proposal here is actually then to extend the term of the contract for an additional year of services to continue with no increase in price, The additional amount is for $509,789.84 in compensation, and will memorialize $40,000 of contingency spending previously awarded. And from here, I'll hand it over to Chuck McBride.
Thanks, Kalua. So by extending this GSA for 1 year, it allows the city to receive a few things. We get set fees. So as you saw in the presentation, the fee for the final extension of this GSA remains the same as the previous extension for the contract year. Ongoing landscape services were changed somewhat in this, in that we asked Golden Gate to preclude the use of glyphosate on city properties, fringes, and medians throughout Santa Rosa. So what we're asking council for tonight is simply to execute the final 1-year extension of the GSA with Golden Gate Landscape in a contract agreement amount not to exceed $2,579,337.84.
Great. Council questions? Councilmember Tibbetts.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have 3 quick questions. First one is, forgive my ignorance, as a member of the BPU, I should know this, and this may be a question for Ms. Miller up there, but is the city stormwater permit the same as the North Coast Regional Quality Control Board's stormwater permit? Okay, I see the nod. Thank you. That's great. The other question I have is, this is the 10th continuation of the contract. At what point are we going to take this out to an RFP? Because I got to believe, after 10 years of doing this over and over again, plus the original contract term, we should probably go back out to the market and look for competitive rates.
I'll go ahead and answer that, Councilman Tibbetts. There's a couple things in progress. One is the last time Water was before you to talk about their maintenance contract, they agreed to do a pilot and to do some comparisons on cost and so forth. So we expect Water to come back with their report on the pilot, get direction from council, and then that will drive the RFP that we issue for the future services. This allows us time to get that done.
Okay, thank you. And my final question is, I just want to be really clear, and again, forgive my ignorance, but we're saying we're not using glyphosates. I think it was back on page 6, and it gave very specific uses, but I also heard we're doing something in cracks and on bollards. Are we making a distinction between where we use glyphosates and not glyphosates, or are we not using glyphosates at all?
No, we're not making a distinction. What I was offering was, let's see if we can get to that slide. Yeah, what I was saying is before this extension, which actually is the exercise of year 10 of the agreement, was that we don't use, even before this agreement going forward for the abandoning the use of glyphosate, we were only using it in these scenarios for pavement cracks, tree rings, and those kinds of areas. So the utilization was already pretty low, and now we're going to 0.
Okay, great. And now I'll just take the opportunity to say thank you for doing this too. I know we kind of brought this up a year ago, and it was a pretty quick change to be asking for, so thanks for bringing it so far along in a short period of time.
Councilmember Combs.
Thank you, and thank you for that clarification. It wasn't clear to me on slide 4 also whether we were differentiating with the weed control issues. I have one question, which is my understanding is that in order to comply with the 2016 North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board stormwater permit, we're supposed to have an integrated management plan, maybe a pest management plan. Are we moving forward with that piece?
We already utilize an integrated pest management control system.
And is this a piece of that? If it's integrated, that means it's the water agency as well as the parks. Is that right? Is that what they mean by integrated in this case, that it's citywide?
You could have stayed.
Good afternoon.
Oops. There we go.
Good afternoon, Lisa Grant, Park Superintendent, council members, and Vice Mayor. To answer your question, the Recreation and Parks Department has had a integrated pest management guidelines policy for a number of years, since I think, what was it, 99, and it was recently updated in 2014. What the stormwater permit is asking is for a citywide policy, and Recreation and Parks, along with Water and TPW, will be working together to create that document.
Okay, and we're so busy with so many things. Was it due in 2016, or do we have some time to work on it?
I would defer to those in water and connected to stormwater.
Thank you.
Great. I have one card on this. Ann Seeley.
We still have an answer.
I apologize.
Sorry. Almost there. Just a second, Ann.
Good afternoon. I'm Rita Miller. I'm with the Santa Rosa Water Department. Just wanted to answer your question that requirement was in our stormwater permit that was issued in 2016, and it is due sometime next year.
Next year.
So we'll be working on it.
So we can be working on it now, and we aren't in violation.
Right.
Wonderful. That was a good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank staff for working on this. I very much appreciate it.
All right. Go ahead, Ann.
Council and Vice Mayor and Council, I should say. This is a time for some clarity in the city's policy about the use of Roundup in parks, schools, and other public places. Sonoma County Conservation Action, the Toxic Future project, has had some success in convincing school boards to stop using glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup. In this discussion of amending the Golden Gate landscape maintenance contract, the online information was really unclear. The staff report indicated that there would be a continuing policy of no use of glyphosate, but in the resolution that you're asked to approve, there's no mention of it, nor in the attachment, I think, that describes the services. Please add some clarity. The public interest has sometimes not been served by not having things written down on paper. I'm sure you all know of some examples of that, but one in particular was the city's request for passage through the Santa Rosa Mall to east to west. That was never written down in policy, and it never happened. So please write this down. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thomas Ells.
Thank you. The NPDES permits have been a requirement for almost 20 years. Integrated pest management it's been available for 25, 30 years. Integrated pest management is the way to use pests to control other pests. The way to use materials organic is a question because unfortunately Roundup is organic. Organophosphates, these things are organic. So there are some confusions about terminology. I'm sure that the organic resource group there has that worked out, but obviously it's very important to work with your workforce on glyphosate because of the recent court decision which just validated the settlement, which was $300 million or something like that for the poor gentleman. So thank you again for monitoring the city, even though it has been 20 years, but there certainly were no court cases until now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ells. So Sue, the point that was brought up, both the resolution and Exhibit A do not say anything about glyphosate. Is it possible, without having to go back to the vendor, for us to get that explicitly written into the contract?
Good evening, Brenda Lynn Trammell, purchasing agent. I do have an email correspondence in writing from the vendor currently that is strict and stringent in absolute no use of glyphosates. Our goal here today is to get the extension actually approved, and then after that approval, which will allow us to continue our business, I do plan to go back and work with city attorney to provide language that will provide specific performance within the scope. So that approval can be issued at the purchasing agent's level because there is no monetary change to the impact of the contract.
And that is correct. And if the council wishes to hold off and not approve the amendment until that language is included in the amendment, that's also a possibility. I don't know if the timing situation is such that... The timing is an issue because we're set to expire on the 30th of this month.
Okay, Councilmember Combs.
Can Councilmember Sawyer, who has the item, is it within his ability to make the motion in such a way that we make the motion conditional upon this happening and receiving the language back, but we can move forward?
Yes.
Okay, would that be, if you would consider that a friendly amendment?
Yeah, I'll go to Councilmember Sawyer to put a motion on the table if we're going to get into discussion.
I just was trying to make sure it was possible to go there before we did.
Would it be a conditional, or would can I just mention that the documents will include the prohibition of glyphosate?
Yes, you can make the motion to approve the amendment subject to inclusion of that prohibition into the 10th Amendment.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Is that your motion?
Yes. Why not?
It is amended.
Thank you for making that so easy.
It is preferable to actually state the motion.
Okay. Well, would you like me to restate the motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, certainly. So I'll introduce, are we finished with? Yeah. Okay. I'll introduce a resolution of the Council of the City of Santa Rosa approving the 10th Amendment to General Services, GSA, Agreement F000799 with Golden Gate Landscape Management Incorporated, including with language to be inserted that will include the prohibition of glyphosate in the final documents.
Second.
And I'd like to just really fast thank staff for bringing this forward. I did pull this item off of consent last year because I was trying really desperately to make sure that we got neonicotinoids taken care of in the city as well. I hope that when we do our pest management system plan, that it's both glyphosate and neonicotinoids, which should be covered in it. There's a little bit of overlap where it doesn't, but in particular for our bee population and making sure that we're not doing anything detrimental to colonies. Any other discussion? Okay, Council, your votes. Oops. I think we're voting again. We like this so much we're voting twice. And that passes with 6 ayes. Being 5 o'clock, we'll go to public comment. Ann Seeley, and she'll be followed by Dwayne DeWitt. Oh, I apologize. Dwayne DeWitt, and he'll be followed by Bob Hansen.
Thank you kindly, sir. My name is Dwayne DeWitt. I'm from Roseland. Misappropriation of property is a term that I just learned the other day, actually on August 5th, I believe, from a police officer over in Roseland when I had found a cell phone at the site, 1370 Burbank Avenue, that you folks recently purchased, and someone had broken the door down and was vandalizing the building. Upon arrival, cell phone and some water, and I called the police. The police came and I said, hey, let's take the phone to the city, to Lost and Found, and then they'll have it and they can trace who it belongs to and they'll know about the vandalism. And the police officer kindly explained to me that no, if we take that, that's misappropriation of property. We have to leave it here for the person to come back and get it themselves. And I thought, wow. So aren't they misappropriating property that they are taking from the building when they're vandalizing this? And we didn't get into a deep discussion. We just basically said, I'll see you again, sir. And I'm bringing it here to you because I came and spoke with you the next day, the 6th of August at the council meeting, and pointed out that someone had taken double pane, nice Anderson windows from both of the buildings at the site. And I realized we should be following that. If that property has been purchased by the taxpayers and then since taken by someone, that would be misappropriation of public property. If that property was given to someone as a gift, then there should at least be some sort of a record of it, and that would be wonderful for us to have. I bring this up because over in Roseland, we're doing our best to try to deal with the aftershocks, if you will, of the different dispersals of homeless camps and people kind of wandering around our neighborhoods, taking advantage of places at various times. You may not remember the philosophy of one of the police chiefs of the past, I believe it was Chief McNamara, who had an idea that a broken window attracted more problems, and if you fixed it, problems might not accumulate. So some of my friends in Roseland and myself, we believe in that. We're trying to keep it as nice as possible, keep it clean, doing as best as we can. So please help us out on that and maybe track down where those windows went, because if they have value, that could help the community that's now in need of funding for Roseland Creek Preserve. I'll leave you with one last thought also. Let's get together and have ourselves a Roseland reunion out there. We don't get to vote this year in the elections, but Roseland folks are interested. So why don't all of you come over to Roseland, because they're not tearing down the library building until next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. Mr. Hanson.
Good afternoon, everybody. Robert Hanson, vet, retired carpenter, grandpa. I've come before the city council not for city business, but I need some help. Let me briefly explain. 4 years ago, a man filed joint custody through our family court system. This is a man that abandoned my granddaughter and my daughter for the first 6.5 years of her life. Sadie Rose has been in this city council. 3.5 years ago, after 2 mediation reports cautioning the court on this man's temper, the judge ordered my daughter to release custody of my then 7-year-old granddaughter in a parking lot in Burlingame to a man using a P.O. box as his legal address. We refused. It's gone downhill in family court since then. This man has never been denied access to his daughter, never. Sadie spent a school year every other weekend in Gilroy with him. Last summer, she spent the whole summer with him. And after that summer, she has refused to go back. Last Wednesday, my daughter missed a court date, family court. First one in 4 years. Last Friday, this man came into my granddaughter's park, told her he wanted to take her shopping for her school clothes. In reality, he was serving a 90-day total custody plus a 90-day no communications between an 11-year-old girl and her family. Her cell phone is off. Our numbers are blocked. We think she's in Hollister, California, because he's, again, using a P.O. box as his legal address. I have no idea how to deal with this. No idea at all. So I'm throwing this out to our community. Citizens of Santa Rosa, Sonoma County, if anybody has the legal expertise to get my granddaughter back, to restore communications between an 11-year-old little girl and her family. If you need a house built, I'll build it. If you've got a remodel addition,
Thank you, Mr. Hanson.
You're going to cut me off at for 3 minutes on this, my friend?
I'm happy to talk with you after the meeting, Mr. Hanson, but everybody gets 3 minutes. We have no public hearings, no written communication, and with that, we are adjourned.